This is Raps Revenge, back with another one, giving you all the important shit concerning biblical and politics, aside from everything Kev's kicking. He's the only one on the internet that's actually shown me or taught me something new lately, and it continues to amaze me. So I always give that brother a shout out, even though he thinks I'm his enemy. But I still rock with his show, man. He's still a top-notch teacher in our community, straight up. And I hope he blows up, even though he might not want to. He should, you know what I'm saying? Because more people need to hear what he's talking about, regardless. Um, but I wanted to talk about the how the central bank digital currency is going to work, and how it's going to be based off of compliance and response. So how it's going to work is essentially your when the central bank rolls out the digital currency, basically everyone's going to assume that they have to jump onto it because it's going to be the only thing that we know once this dollar goes away. And basically how it's going to work is just like in Canada. The protesters, and I'm a trucker, so I keep an ear to all this shit. The truckers in Canada were protesting Justin Trudeau and all the crazy shit he's been doing up there, right? And basically, they used the close CCTV close circuit cameras and did facial recognition on these people and found out who these people were, and they froze their bank accounts for a period of time. And how this is going to work is, as we integrate to the digital currency system, like I said, it's going to be based off of response and compliance. So they may force us or order us to do things like take those things that not everybody was on board with taking. And if you don't take those things, guess what? They're going to freeze out your account, or they'll make it so that when you try to apply for a job, if you have online stuff that you've been restricted on, like a lot of the stuff I've been restricted on, not a chance. So once people start to realize that the currency is going to be tied into the lifestyle, that's kind of what they're trying to bring us into ultimately. So I kind of wonder, like, because I don't know a whole lot about Bitcoin, even though I should, and I should really be trying to get more information on that, because I know for a fact that this dollar is going away. Because on my other page, I talked about so much stuff that happened last year. Before this whole issue happened, the Fed was pumping billions into the economy, and I was like, what the hell are they doing? And then there was a situation where all these senators sold all their stock, and it was a couple of Republicans and several of the other Ds. They sold all their stock in certain companies prior to this whole thing going down. So ultimately, that's why I wonder how Kev's angle plays in with this, because really, I know the currency is going away, essentially. So the options are going to be to switch over to the central bank's digital currency that they're going to roll out, or to switch on to an alternative currency like a Bitcoin or what do they call it, Ethereum or something like that. There's a lot of those things, like a basket currency, unless I'm thinking maybe we have something that happens and we go back to a national currency, which is different than the Federal Reserve note that we currently use right now. So we at one time did have a national currency. Now, will it be backed by gold? And do we have the gold to back it? So that's kind of a question I wonder as well. So, these things are going to be stuff that we have to deal with going forward, because when you look at, and if you haven't been paying attention, definitely take a look at Sri Lanka right now. Those people are basically being deprived of resources. And there's boats that are literally nautical miles off from the coast that are waiting with resources that they're just being ordered not to bring in because the economy is in complete free fall. And what tends to happen, because we're the world reserve currency, is other countries will have things happen there, and basically it's kind of like almost like a mirror to what is in store here if we don't maybe turn the corner or turn the boat or some shit. Because there's an internal war that's been going on. It's been going on probably since 2016. And now one thing that is very intriguing to me is Galileo satellites in Italy. Those are the satellites. Remember that name, the Galileo company in Italy. They're like a satellite company or something like that. Galileo or Galileo, something like that. They are the ones who were suspected of using space technology to do some things in our election. And that should come out. And I think the Space Force probably captured that information. So if things get real salty and the Supreme Court doesn't do their job when this thing goes back up to them, all this information is going to be brought out to the public, because we're probably going to see a lot of public executions of very, very, what you would call popular people. And I know that sounds crazy as shit, but what people are seeing about Hunter is just the tip of the iceberg. I've seen stuff with Obama's daughters and Hunter, believe it or not, and I'm not the only one. And people can speculate or whatever and say it's not real. Remember, these people are so powerful. They had like the head of all the intelligence agencies, like James Clapper, Baker, man, Hastings, man, they had them all come out and say that all that shit was fake. Oh man, and when you understand that, you know, these are the heads of our intelligence agencies saying this stuff. So when people used to say CNN was the news network, I believe it, because everything that we see is propaganda. And I'm telling you, even the mainstream media, these people are actors. A lot of these people who we see on TV, who we think are reporters, these people are actors who actually have agents that work at these companies. I seen something one time. I might go back and try to find my other page, because something happened, man. Something happened with my other page where I can't get back on it no more. But I had some insightful shit on there, especially about this particular company that basically is like a storage for all these reporters, and it's a talent agency. I forgot what the name of it is, but it's on my other page. I'll find it if I get enough time. But it's a talent agency, and these reporters, I don't believe these reporters are actually in. You know how deep the rabbit hole goes. I won't go too far deep into it, but I don't even think some of these people who we see in front of us are actually real flesh and blood people. Dead ass. I'm not bullshitting, man. You do enough research on that shit, but that's for another day. But in the interim right now, the most important thing I think the country needs to understand is the currency is about to change and the implications of that, because you have one group who wants us to go into a system where they can control it. That's that digital currency. And then you have another group that, I mean, I don't know. I really don't know. From what I'm seeing, I know that 4 or 5 was wanting to abolish the Fed. Now, what comes with that, I don't know. So if anyone has any bright ideas or suggestions of what they think might be in store after that, definitely put a question in the comments section, and let's have a discussion, because this shit is real. Right now, we're dealing with inflation. Like I said, shit, man, I'm looking at these gas prices, and man, it's taking about damn near $2,000 a week to fill my shit up. Just 6 months ago, it was only like $1,000. You know what I'm saying? And the rates aren't paying worth a shit. You know, I'm still making enough to keep my shit above water, but man, it's like I can see how things are just going up, and I can see that we haven't even hit hyperinflation, and all the things that were talked about by people that I listen to are happening. I'm looking at the feds. I know how they operate. I know the particulars, the players, the Jerome Powells, the Janet Yellens, and I can see what they're trying to do. You know, ultimately they wanted to have a war so that they could do this shit real quick and tank the economy real quick, but they didn't get that war. So they're trying to get it while applying pressure on us, because we're starting to rebel and see how shit is sideways. Like, if you haven't been paying attention, you got places like Wisconsin looking to decertify, and other states like Georgia, Arizona, man, there's a lot of them. Michigan, I think. So that's why I don't think there's going to be a 2024 unless they get that corrected, because remember, we're still running off of the Dominion and the Smartmatic systems, and they were able to tap into the internet through what they call Splunker routers. So all that shit came out. I mean, I've read so many different WikiLeaks and shit like that. I was blessed to have, just a year or two ago, for the last couple of years, I had 2 gigs where I was working from home, and I've always been intrigued by the world politics. So, yeah, I just, like I said, this collapse is coming, and I think it's going to get a lot worse before it gets better, because heavy punches are going to be thrown here pretty soon. I'm talking about a lot of information. Alex Jones had it right. He had it right, regardless, hate him or love him, but he had it right when he said this shit was InfoWars. And I mean, I don't watch him no more, but I used to watch him back in the day, like when there was the brother Jakari Jones on there. When his other dude, I remember when Alex Jones even went left. I'll tell you exactly when Alex Jones went left, when the show went left, is when they reported on the whole Pizzagate shit. When they broke that shit open, man, all kind of crazy shit started happening, and that's when Joe Biggs was the one that broke it open on his report. And I mean, I watched a little bit of Owen Shore. I didn't really like that dude that much. I don't know what the hell they got going on now, but I used to watch it back then when I was maybe a little bit out of, man, that was back in the day, man. Jakari Jones, people probably don't even know who that dude is. He was the black dude on InfoWars, and then Joe Biggs. But man, they went after that dude's family and shit and everything. It just lets you know, like, these people, they can bring you up and take you down because they control the currency. That's why the currency is everything. They control it, and you have to understand how they got into this nasty little relationship with the U.S. and how, it's deep. It's deep. It is deep as shit, and people better get a history lesson quick. Especially on currencies and like shit like the Weimar Republic and what happened there, where a motherfucker went in and got some coffee at like basically 8 in the morning, normal, morning time. By the time he got off of work, he had paid $5 for the coffee in the morning, but by the time he got off of work, that shit was like $40-$50. And it's a real possibility that we might be feeling that pretty soon. Because remember, this is only inflation that we're experiencing. Hyperinflation is coming, and the Fed has already signaled that they're going to raise the interest rates over the next 5 or 6 times, actually, within the next year possibly. And they only had 2 options. They could either raise the interest rates or do nothing and just let the prices and the inflation take care of itself and raise up. So they're imploding on itself, and they don't have a war to keep spending money. They don't have the storyline to keep everybody in the house so we can all see all the shit going on and see how phony a lot of the shit is. So it's a trying time too, because like Dave says a lot, like, these dudes' backs are against the wall, so they're liable to do anything. I've been watching a lot of I've been hearing a lot of stories about space, and like I said, I don't be surprised if they try to come out and say some shit like they done found alien life, because that's how big the shit is that's being covered up. They would be willing to let you believe that type of shit and to keep your mind off of some major shit. The same day the damn Maxwell's list done dropped, they done found alien life or some shit like that. That's the type of shit that they'll do. Dead serious, because it's that serious, man. So, man, yeah, let me know, man. My 2-3 subscribers, we ain't tripping, man. We still rocking, man. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, comment if you have any interesting information to bring to the shit.